Hmm? Oh, hello again, Mr. Camera on a tripod. Please, do come in. Make yourself comfortable. Have you come to hear about the rest of my story? You have? Well, that's surprising. It's only been about 30 seconds since I told you the first part. But, whatever. I suppose I can continue. Now, where was I? Oh, right. After the morning's interrogations were done, I went to have some lunch. I took the time to piece together everything I knew so far. On the night of the crime, Steve was hanging out with Era and Remote. Era claimed that he left the crime scene through the back garden before the murder was committed. Remote stayed with Steve and claimed that the weapon used to kill Steve was thrown in through the window. This seems to match up with what Eglin saw from across the street. Mitch and Rick apparently have nothing to do with the crime, but did work out that the weapon was a coffee mug, which I found at the scene of the crime. And Peach apparently decided to visit Steve's house earlier in the day to give him some water. Piece by piece, the case was coming together, but I'd need more information. With no more potential witnesses or suspects available to me yet, I decided it would be a good idea to start by bringing back one of the people I brought in that morning, to see if I could squeeze some more information out of them. Let's see how that went. Alright, Remote, you can come back in.
Chicken!
Yeah, please don't mind the chickens. We had a bit of an infestation since you came here. I don't know how that came about. So,
Alright.
you're just going to have to cope with them, I'm afraid. So firstly, I'd like you to confirm, do you know what item it was that came in through the window?
I do not. It was too quick for me to tell.
It became clear to me fast that this witness was keeping his cards close to his chest, so I would really have to dig to force the information out of him. From other testimony, I've concluded that it was this mug. Do you recognize it at all?
Well, sort of. It's like the mugs that were in the kitchen.
Some witnesses can be really difficult, and this was one of the worst. No matter what I tried, he didn't seem to want to tell me anything.
Now, one thing that really puzzled me about his house is that he really didn't have grass outside. It was all surrounded by, like, cement.
However, even the toughest of witnesses can be cracked, if you happen to know the right questions to ask them.
Like that mug, there were other things missing from the house when I was with Steve before the murder.
I see. Can you
Like-
elaborate? What else was missing from the house?
He had these pair of rollerblades by the door.
He had some rollerblades by the door. Interesting.
Yes, and when he died, they just weren't there.
Finally, I got the witness to speak. And better yet, he had told me some vital information. So, it was time to start forming a theory. Do you think it could have been possible that Era took the rollerblades and roller skated around the edge of the house?
I guess that it's definitely possible.
And just like that, my suspicions were confirmed. Era left the crime scene before the crime took place, roller skated around the front of the house, and threw the fatal mug through the window, hitting Steve in the back of the head and killing him instantly. The theory was flawless and was unlikely to be proven wrong.
But now, I have a question for you. You said it was that mug that got thrown through the window?
Yes.
Well, how did it kill him?
How did it kill him? It must have hit him in the back of the head.
Wait a minute. He was looking out the window.
He was looking out the window.
Yes, he was looking out the window.
Out the window!
Yes!
Out the window!
Yes, Steve was looking out the window when he got hit.
Steve was looking out the window when he got hit.
Yes.
So, with that stupid, rubbish, terrible theory disproven, it was time to think of a better one. So this puts a whole new perspective on the case. The killer must have killed the victim from inside. But who was
That is
still
true.
inside the house? Well,
I didn't see anyone else, I swear.
then surely it must have been you!
No, it wasn't.
It must have been!
It couldn't have been.
There's no one else it could have been. It must have been you.
No.
It
What if
must have
after I
been-
went
it must have been you.
upstairs, someone came inside the house?
After you went upstairs. But didn't you go upstairs after the murder?
Yes, he got hit, fell down, and then I went upstairs.
What?
He he was hit with the mug on the front, and then he fell down, and I ran upstairs to take a bath.
Well, if that's the case, what you said earlier was a lie. You said you got blood on you. How is this possible if he was facing away from you and the only wound was on the front of him?
I was standing next to him by the window.
You were standing next to him by the window, looking out
Yes.
the window. Did you not
Yes.
see?
No, not out of the window. Not out of the window.
Where are you looking then?
I was standing next to him. I could not see the window. I was looking inside the house.
Can we pretend this photo's this
This
painting's
photo is the window?
Yeah, this
If
the window.
Steve,
So you were
if
there.
Steve was right here,
you would
then
be right here, looking this way.
yes, that is correct.
I see. That makes sense. Well, thank you for your testimony. I'll call you back if we need you again. And for now, you may leave.
Okay, thank you.
Bye. With that interview complete, I was convinced that I was onto something. All of the evidence seemed to line up quite neatly. I had a murder method and a suspect in mind, and I was just about ready to shut the case and head back home. But then, I received a note from Mr. Gregory. He had apparently identified a new lead pertaining to my case. So, I immediately dropped what I was holding, which happened to be a pile of firewood, a can of petrol, and my collection of 12 lit antique fruit-scented candles, and called in the new witness. I was confident that what they said could only possibly support my theory, and not everything would contradict it. So, let's see how that went, shall we? Hello? Don't mind the fire, this is fine. Just sit down, take a seat, and tell me everything you know!
About what?
About the crime, of course.
What the hell are you talking
The
about?
murder of Steve Minecraft. What do you know about the murder of Steve Minecraft?
Steve Minecraft.
Yes, Steve Minecraft. Steve Minecraft was brutally murdered in his house. Do you know anything about this?
No.
For God's sake!
Actually, now that I recall it, I was stood next to Steve Minecraft as this item was thrown at him.
You were stood next to him. Are you sure?
I was. Yes,
Because
I was.
someone else is accounted as standing next to him while this item was thrown at him as well.
Oh, I was stood behind him. I'm sorry. I should.
You were stood behind him. Are you sure?
Yes, directly behind him, and the item was this flaming sword, and it went through his head, and it almost like got me.
This does not match up with our witness's testimony.
I'm fairly certain that the object was on fire. That's as much as I remember.
Maybe it was a flaming mug.
Oh, that's a possibility. Maybe they'd filled the mug with gasoline, and that's how they set it on fire.
Now, I'm no expert on burning rooms, but I'm pretty sure that would probably burn the room down.
You're no expert on burning rooms.
No, I've never seen one in my life.
Nor have I, actually. Maybe one day I will.
Yeah. The interesting thing is neither Remote nor Error have mentioned you being in the room at any time during the crime. So, were you hiding?
So, we were at a party, and I don't like parties, so I was hiding in the closet, obviously.
I see. Since you were there, can you confirm a few things for me? So, apparently Error left the crime scene before the murder. Is this correct?
No, Error was there.
Error was there? Are
Error
you sure?
was
Because
there.
this contradicts both Error's and Remote's testimony, so are you sure about that?
No, Error was there because I had a notepad with me and I was noting down everyone's entrances and exits to the room in case there was a murder, because it's a party and that's when always people get
I
murdered.
see, yeah,
So-
that makes sense.
So I knew it was
So
going
it's
to
always
happen.
better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah, so Error was in the room. Error was sat on the sofa watching television.
Remote says that he went and took a bath after the murder. Is this correct?
No, because the house was burning down.
So the last thing, do you know what the victim was wearing?
Yeah, he was in a mankini.
Mankini.
Yeah.
No, this is very different from what I've been told.
Yeah, so Steve Minecraft had a pool at the back of his house, and he wanted to go swimming, so yeah, he was wearing a mankini. I remember specifically it was like this neon yellow mankini. It was
Wonderful.
glow in the dark as well, so when the disco lights
It was
came
glow
on
in the
after he
dark?
died,
This is
yeah,
interesting.
so when he fell to the ground and the disco lights came on and like the disco started, like his neon mankini kind of lit up. It was rather beautiful, actually.
I see. Well, anyway, thanks for testifying. I think that's all the information I need from you. I'm gonna have to
Great.
collect my thoughts
Yeah.
And yeah, so see you. Bye.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
For God's sake, who wrote this script? Ah, hello again. Ignore that. Here's another interview.
Hi.
Welcome back, Aiglin. Welcome back to the interrogation room. By chance, you didn't happen to notice a house fire in the house across the road at some point, did you?
House fire.
Yeah.
It would have been obvious. That would have been the fire brigade would have been in there. They'll have their records. You best ask them.
I see. Well, this has been very interesting. I think that's everything I need from you this time. And, bye.
Bye.
Was that really it? It was. But there was only one question, and he didn't even know the answer. What was the point? Oh, heck, come on. With every interrogation, I got one step closer to the truth. Little by little, I was uncovering the case. But this wasn't good enough, because in part 1, I said I solved the whole case in just one day, and at this rate, it was going to take years. So, to speed things up a bit, I had to use my super special secret interrogation technique called interrogating everyone at the same time.
Hello.
Welcome back,
Detective. Here's your cake back.
What? Why? I baked this especially for you.
Yeah, sure you did.
Why do I even bother? Anyway, if my hypothesis is correct, you went to the kitchen and you got some coffee. Some steaming hot coffee at that. So hot that it set on fire. Then, what you did is you went out the exit of the house, through the back garden, went round to the front of the house, and threw the burning coffee in through the window, hitting Steve.
Detective, with all due respect, I don't believe you can set a liquid on fire.
With all due respect, I don't think you know how liquids work.
With all due respect, I passed my AP chemistry exam, so I think I know how liquids work.
Now tell me, what was in the back garden?
Some flowers, there's a hedge.
Was there grass?
It's a really... yes.
Was
It's
there a
really lovely
swimming
garden.
pool?
No.
I'm sorry, but your testimony contradicts 2 other people's testimony. I'm gonna have to get Remote back in here as well. You're gonna have to testify together. Enter. Sit down.
Shit. Not this.
I'm sorry, we have to keep dragging you back here.
Yeah, it's...
But
I don't know.
but I need to get this case sorted out. You see. And ignore
Oh my
the
God,
fact
you
I
can fly?
You can fly?
Oh my god!
Remote here says that says that the garden was completely concrete surrounding the whole house.
The garden wasn't concrete. There was a path in the garden that went to the front, which was completely concrete.
Are you
Are you-
eating? Spit
Yes,
it
I am
out.
eating. I have a
Spit
sandwich.
it out.
Spit it out.
Remote, you told me that there was at least a couple minutes, maybe, between the occurrence of the murder and Era leaving, correct?
I said 1 or 2 minutes, maybe less.
I feel like this could have been enough time for Era to go to the kitchen, grab a flaming cup of coffee, roller skate round to the front of the house and chuck it in through the window, don't you think?
I guess, but he would have to have already had the roller skates on, and when he left, he really didn't have them on.
Could someone have put them on for him?
Well, unless this was an inside job with someone else, I really don't think so.
Alright, so we're gonna bring in another witness, please enter. Hello? Sit down? Okay.
Oh, hi.
How did you...
Don't worry about
Okay.
it. You were
Yeah.
recording everyone's entrances and exits as you do, just in case there's a murder.
Yeah.
And you say that Era didn't actually leave the scene of the crime.
No.
Era, what do you have to say to this?
I did.
Remote?
No. You were on the
Remote?
sofa watching television.
Error most definitely left the scene of the crime before
So-
it was committed.
Myth, what do you have to say about this? Maybe you just missed him? Maybe you're lying. You're not lying,
No.
are you?
Era was asleep on the sofa with the television on.
Why
Which
would
is
I be
why
asleep?
Remote,
That is incorrect. That was not true.
That's why Remote didn't see him because.
Wait,
he
Remote, was there
like,
even a
down
television
on
in the room?
sofa.
I don't remember there being a television in the
There
room.
was a
Myth?
television in the room. What
No,
are
there
you
was not.
talking about?
Myth, I request
there
that you tell me the
There was
truth,
a
the whole truth,
television.
and nothing but the truth.
I
Please
remember.
don't say any
There was a
lies.
television in the room.
Me and the man in the black cloak were talking about how TV rots the brains of children.
What black cloak? The only people there were us three, and then Steve, who was just there in a mankini. What is this about black
Yeah,
cloak?
this is
What?
also
You said
another
he was
thing.
in a mankini?
Myth,
I was at the party, and I don't like parties, so I hid in the closet that looked like blinds, so you could see through, obviously. And Steve was stood in front of us wearing his mankini because he was going to go swimming and then he decided he didn't want to. So he was stood in front of us, and then a flaming mug filled with gasoline came through the window and it hit him in the face. And then I exited the closet and I inspected him, and he had wounds in his head, so I wrote it down because obviously that's what you do at parties because there's always going to be a murder. And then the disco lights came on, and then he lit up in this neon mankini, and it was beautiful. What do you not remember about this?
All of
Well, first of all, it's not a party, it's an intimate get-together. Second of all,
it. Thank you.
Steve was in a black cloak, if he is who I assume he was. Well, I never saw the person's face in the black cloak, but based on what the detective has told me, I would assume it was Steve.
Hold on, it's possible that the person in the black cloak wasn't Steve, but was someone pretending to be Steve. Someone mentioned earlier, I think it might have been you, Ara, that Herobrine could have been there. Herobrine looks an awful lot like Steve, and I imagine sounds like him as well, right?
Sure.
What if there
So
was
it's possible
two
the person in the black cloak was Herobrine.
What I think might have happened, we're so silly for not seeing this. There was obviously two parties with clones of all the guests, and then they both died, and that's why you saw someone in a black cloak and I saw someone in a mankini. How did we not see this before?
So we must
If
have
there
attended
were-
2 different parties.
If there were 2 different houses, I was talking to some other people being interviewed outside. I believe their names were Mitch and Rick. They said they were not at the same house I was at. What if they were at the other house?
What if they were?
I bet they were at the other house.
Oh my god.
Hold on,
Okay,
I might
so-
have to
so
bring
if
them
I-
in. So, if I'm thinking correctly here, it's possible that Era and Remotes were at a party with Herobrine, who was pretending to be Steve, and when an item got thrown at him through the window and hit him, he only pretended to be knocked out, teleported upstairs, where he killed Alex, where Remote saw him and had a bath.
And then I was at a house with who I thought were Remote and Error, but maybe it was just Rick and Mitch in like
In
disguise.
disguise.
Oh.
With these new facts coming to light, I can conclude that Era and Remote, neither of you were related to the crime, so congratulations on that. You were at the actual crime scene.
Alright,
Bye.
Remote, let's go have another intimate get together.
Bye.
Bye.
Alright. Come in. Come in. Yep, come on. Hurry up. You're doing great. Yep, almost there.
There we go.
So, witnesses, when
Oh, we
I,
got a joint chair this time. That's
Yeah, it's
lovely.
nice. No, we
When
can
I-
just sit
Yeah,
there.
when I
Yeah,
called you
nice.
earlier, we
Well, better.
concluded that
Yeah, it's nice.
you
how we can
two-
just sit
yeah,
there.
really lovely actually.
when
Yeah, I have a
when
normal
we-
seat this time. I don't
You're
have a
still
broken
stood
one.
on the
Good.
table.
I don't have a broken
really
one.
rude,
Shut
actually.
up.
Remember,
Shut up
remember
or I'll
last
shoot.
time when I had a broken
Shut,
seat?
come on, shut up. Sit,
Oh,
shut
he's
up.
pointing it at us again.
Ah,
goodness.
shit. That was just like last time when he
You
shot,
too.
but he missed.
Shut up or you're in
Okay,
big trouble. The place that we
just go
believed
ahead.
was the scene of the crime, actually, it turns out wasn't. Meaning that you two could have
Sunny?
been at the real scene of the crime.
So
yeah,
it
we
was
could
your-
have, but were we really?
What's being
Don't-
suspected is that you two were at the real scene of the crime, disguised
We
as-
were the scene of the crime.
disguised as Remote and Error.
Why
So
would I want to describe myself as those two filthy idiots?
it doesn't help that in my previous interrogation, Rick, you changed your outfit several times in the interrogation, proving that you're good at disguising yourself in different
We are
costumes.
quite the master of disguises, but we were
You
not
think I'm
there.
actually
but-
here, right?
Okay.
Actually, I'm at home. This is a hologram.
I'm
Kind
sorry,
of,
but
for real, Chief.
you've slipped up. I'm gonna have to bring another witness in here, and they're gonna have to testify against you, I think. Myth, come in.
Now, please.
Yeah, he's come on.
Anytime. No.
Oh, here she is. What makes you think it was these two in particular in disguise?
Because they're just little shits, aren't they? Like,
First off, to add to
That's
add
a good
to
enough
the layers
reason.
of bullshit that you are creating here, and my god, is it deep? It's a deep, dark Pringles packet of bullshit. What were we disguised as? Yeah, tell me. You won't. You
So-
can't.
Rick was Error wearing a Pikachu onesie, and Mitch, you were remote.
Yeah, like I would disguise myself as that prick. I don't think so.
That's exactly why you disguises it as him though, because no one would suspect you.
I wouldn't.
That's
I
a
would
good
be
point.
able to do it. How would I be able to live with myself disguised as somebody like
Look,
that?
all I'm saying is that you're part of a secret
Yeah,
mafia and
but
you
can
were
we
disguised
discuss?
at the party. Like,
Listen, right? I gotta come clean.
Go on.
I haven't exactly been telling the truth the whole time.
What's
I
going
know
on?
exactly who it was.
Who was it?
It wasn't Herobrine. It wasn't any of us in this room. No, sir.
Who was
The
it?
real perpetrator of this crime is Peach.
Peach?
That's right. She did it all. Yeah, I saw her grab the knife
Yeah.
and the club
Yeah.
and
can,
the poison bottle.
what?
She couldn't decide which one to use.
But
She
you
juggled
threw a
them in her
flaming
hand.
mug.
She just
It was
used
quite
all of
impressive.
them.
And then, finally, she decided on the silver spoon. She got it. She rammed it straight up his candy fucking ass. Right up there. Right into Shit Creek. My god, it was beautiful.
I
It was
can't
like
recall.
gold.
Well, thank you for testifying again. I think your testimony and accusation is going to be very useful.
I'm sure it will be.
Said that he killed them with a spoon when I saw a flaming mug be thrown at someone's
Yeah, I
face.
feel like she was just
We
high. I
don't
feel like...
fret over the details.
Some of that
There's-
cocaine we were smoking may have been passed around the venue.
I feel like...
I think I'm gonna have to
Peach is
interview
alone.
Peach again.
There's still not an
Right.
exit, sir. There's still not an exit.
What are we
We,
supposed to do?
we still can't leave.
We just sort of disappear into this room and the camera thinks that we're gone.
So, Peach, please come in. Hello. Peach,
Hello. Hi.
we've got some new information.
Oh? What
So
you
apparently there were two houses. At one of them, Error and Remote were with Herobrine, who was pretending to be Steve. And at the other house, Mitch and Rick, who were disguised as Error and Remote, were with the real Steve. At the house with the real
Right.
Steve, Myth was looking at was observing from a cupboard, and Aiglin was watching from across the road. Now this does leave one problem though. That means that only one person could be the killer. It was you!
I got framed!
Confess now.
I got framed!
Confess!
You know? Okay, I confess!
Oh, okay, that was easy.
I mean,
I
you're
knew it
about to
all
kill me
along.
with a bow, you know?
I knew it all along.
I mean, I wanted to kill him. He was a waste of my time, you know?
Well, I'm sorry,
Fine,
Peach,
fine.
but we're gonna have to take you away. You're under
You can't
arrest
do this.
officially.
You can't take me. You know, I could run away right now.
Ah, but you can't because
Ah,
there is no door.
there was a door! There was a door! You trapped me! Wait, hold on.
There is no way out.
Dang!
This will be your prison cell for the rest of your life.
I could kill you with my mug.
No, you can't because there is no me.
Dude, you have held me captive. You gonna make me starve here? You know, it's lonely in here. I need another murderer. Hello? I'm gonna cry! I'm afraid of the dark. I'm afraid of the dark. Hello? Okay. Might as well kill myself. I'm gonna die! Hello! Come back! You know, I could just sing my lonely song to myself. Am I just gonna talk to a freaking ghost? Hello? Hello? Come back! Dude, I'm scared of the dark. This is so funny. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Hey, Kevin, talk to you again. Hello. I'm so lonely. I have nobody. all on my own. Oh, I'm Mr. Lonely.